Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very interesting review, impressions of a knife that I received, something that I'm pretty excited about. It's a knife that I've carried for a little bit, but I needed to get it reviewed because it's going to be a giveaway. And I want to pass this along to my subscribers for a giveaway that we have upcoming. This is the Civivi Qubit, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. It's Qubit or Qubit, something like that. Cool little knife for sure. It is a button lock, beautiful aluminum handles, deep pocket carry clip, nice thumb stud deployment, and obviously button lock deployment. As you can see, it's looks like a spear point to me, really, because it's pretty even on both sides. Spear point, draw point, I don't know what you want to call it. Has a nice little place for a finger. Kind of a choil, if you use a knuckle, you're okay with that. Wouldn't do a whole finger, it gets a little sharp in there, but for medium, large hands, they're large width-wise, medium length-wise, I definitely have extra room. So I think extra large, maybe even double extra large hands could fit this comfortably. For a small knife, it's really nice. So let's talk a little bit about our main things that we do for a review. So talk a little bit about the manufacturer. So the manufacturer is Civivi. They have designed the knife, and they're the ones who put it together. So let's talk a little bit about that. Civivi is the manufacturer of the knife. I don't know if there's a designer. Yeah, it says designed by Civivi, so I'm assuming it's an in-house design. So we'll just go with that. These are aluminum scales, the materials right here, aluminum scales. The blade steel here is 14C. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we can get a right angle. 14C 28N right there. Can you see that? All right, so 14C 28N. It is a button lock. The button lock works really nicely. Steel deep pocket carry clip, I think, and it is reversible, so lefties rejoice. Absolutely reversible, so you can do that. And I think you can get, Civivi sells some of their titanium clips, and I bet it would fit this. Does have the Volcano thumb stud, so very comfortable for deployment. Works really nice, reverse flicking and front flicking, so that's nice. I have enough texture on this, and it is a full flat grind all the way up to the top. A full flat grind. So what it works well is middle finger flick works really nice, both right-handed and left-handed. So left-handed, it works really well, and when you reverse that clip over there, it's real easy to handle left-handed as well. So that's really, really nice. It is a captive pivot. That's cool. It is a button lock, and the plunge lock engages really, really well. There's no detent lash. It's very dead centered. The action's fantastic. I believe it's Kate. Yeah, it is Kate ceramic ball bearings. Yep, that's right. But the action's really great. It's very thin. We'll talk a little bit about measurements here in just a second. But beautifully rounded on the handles, and the aluminum handles. And now, when I look at this, I don't see any cutout necessarily, and I don't believe. I don't think there's any. Yeah, it's not steel, no steel bar insert. It's just, steels and aluminum handles right there. So that's nice. I didn't take this one apart, so I don't know if there's like washers from the Kate ceramic ball bearing washers to the aluminum or not, but the action is beautiful. Really is. Very consistent. It's got a nice sound. Listen to that sound. It's kind of a nice sound, I think. I like it for aluminum handles, really. Yeah, really, really cool. And it has this thing that I've seen some people use as a bottle opener to open a bottle of soda or beer or whatever. So I guess you could do that if you're so inclined. It's your knife, whatever you buy it or win it, you do what you want with it, right? It's relatively inexpensive. We're talking about a knife that retails for around $66.90 if you go to White Mountain Knives. And if you go there, by the way, use my coupon code RNK10 to get 10% off. And if not, go there. Maybe check out, Blade HQ. I'm now an affiliate there, and I have an affiliate link down below. Also, GP Knives and Blade Ops. Please check those 3 affiliates out if you find any knives there that you might want. Those are great links as well. But I'm pretty excited to be an affiliate with Blade HQ. I'm really honored that they allowed me to be that. So that's really cool. Anyways. What else? We talked about that. It's thumb studs for deployment. You do have the button locks, so you can do that. So you have multiple button locks. We talked about the reverse flicking. We talked about the blade grind. It is a full flat grind. It looks like a spear point, looks to me like that. Button. The close is really nice. When it's closed, there's no anything in there. When you open it, it does stick out just a little bit. But I have tried to see if I could depress that even with it choked up, and I really can't get to it left-handed as well. And I think in order to disengage that lock, you have to get it has to be pretty depressed in there. See, like it has to be, I don't know if you can see that. It has to be pretty far in there for that lock to be disengaged, right? So it's going to be hard to do. Now, I wouldn't use this for super hard use. Like, you know, people do the spine whack test and things like that. You know, if the physics of a plunge lock are that if you do enough spine whack test and right angle, fast enough, get a perfect vibration, you do it just right enough, you know, because what it is there's a spring that pushes. You have a channel here, and the plunge lock pushes down and engages like on the tang, and the tang of the blade has this little hole where it touches and goes in. And what happens is there's a spring that pushes that down. If you vibrate it enough and have enough impact, what it does, it can slip up, and at some point it could bounce, literally bounce up and come out. Almost every button lock, in some way you could find a failure on there, right? So I will say that, you know, is it easy to do? No, but, you know, I would never hard use a button lock. I wouldn't go banging, chopping woods or anything like that. This would be great EDC, cutting everyday things. Dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, cutting ropes maybe, you know, cutting boxes, Amazon boxes, letters. I mean, this would be a great knife for all of that. I think you'll find great enjoyment out of that and get great purpose out of that. I will say that I've enjoyed carrying this a lot. This is definitely going to be one of my, I think right now, if I was going to get someone an inexpensive knife, and if they wanted a button lock and they were okay with thumb studs, this would be it. I would be getting them this. This is my favorite. I mean, it is right up there with the Pyrite, okay? And I like the Pyrite a lot. I really, really like the Pyrite. Matter of fact, one of my other knives that I have is going to be a Pyrite, and we're going to talk about that one here in just a second. And that is a great knife as well, right? So definitely like the Pyrite, but this I think is a contender. It's absolutely the ergonomics, the shapes of this. It's a little smaller, I think, and that's where the appeal is going to be. And I like the aluminum handles. It's a lighter, you know, as opposed to the steel handles, and it is 14C28N. Got to be honest with you, that is a whole lot better steel than ARRPM9. ARRPM9 is great steel. I think it's better than Nitro V, but it's not as good as 14C28M. Okay, and that's just the best budget steel out there right now, I think. So, that being said, this becomes a really serious contender in my mind. And they have different variants of this. They have different colors of this. I happen to get the black because that's the one I liked, right? I did happen to see, let's see here. I saw a blue with a steel blade, a red with a black blade, and then they had a green, and I think it actually had a Damascus blade. Now that one was like $80 or $81. So, you know, Damascus, it's not the super cheap Damascus. It's actually, I think it's 9CV or MOV or something like that, and with another steel. And I think, so it's not terrible. It's just not great steel, but it's not terrible. So if I recall correctly. But this 14C28N one is really nice. And the action, as you can see, is really great. There's no blade rock, right? It's really nice. And when it goes in to engage with that plunge lock, you can see it clicks in there really nicely. It doesn't rock in and out. I like that. It's in there really well. And it works great left-handed or right-handed. I really like that. So, okay. So that's talking about the steel. So let's do some measurements here. Okay. Let me get my scale over here. Make sure we are on ounces. We are. Good. So 2.85 ounces. I mean, that's great. 2.85 ounces is fantastic, right? Really, really, really great weight. So let's look at the measurement of this knife. So 2.85 ounces. How long are we talking about a knife? Overall, this is just over 7 inches, about 7¼ inches. Blade length, if we go from the tip to the very where the scales are, we're right at 3 inches. If we go to the cutting edge, I mean, it's just shy of 2.75 inches. And we said we're 2.85 inches, so total cutting length is 2.75 inches. I mean, the ratios are almost perfect, even with the finger twirl there. So, you know, those of you who want ratios, which means that we should be, well, the balance is going to be somewhere around there because it's a very thin blade. We'll get into the blade stock here in just a second. but I didn't finish measuring it. I always like to measure to the handle. So let's look at the handle. We got about 3.75 inches, maybe 3.3 7/8 inches right there. If we take the finger choil and we kind of reasonably go up there, we get about 4.25 inches. So, I mean, it's fairly good amount of space there for your hand. For such a small knife, I think that's a great deal. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the blade stock thickness. This is where I think it's going to be really fun to measure, because this is relatively thin. Yeah, so it's less than 1/10 of an inch. It's 0.0935 inches. So it's 94 thousandths of an inch. So, I mean, it's less than 1/10 of an inch. It is super thin, which means this is an incredible slicer. It's going to be fantastic, and the edge is nice. They did a really good job on this edge, I think. If I recall correctly, this was very evenly sharpened edge. Yeah, it was really sharpened evenly well. I will say this side might be a little longer than this side, but you know what? You can easily reprofile that with 14C28F. So really nice measurements. Absolutely fantastic. All right, so what's the category on this one? Well, this is absolutely budget. It's under $100. Technically, it's right around 60 bucks if you get the 10% off coupon code and you get it from White Mountain Knives, but we're looking at around $66, $67. Great budget knife for something like that. I think that's really fantastic. $66 to $67 is really nice. Definitely a good budget knife. Purpose. For me, this would be everyday EDC. Hard use, relatively hard use. I mean, I'm not talking bushwhacking, cutting trees, logs and stuff. I'm not going out there talking about whacking away at things, but if you're, cutting boxes, fertilizer, mulch, whatever, I think it'll do a very good job. Now, mind you, it is a button lock, so depending on how dirty you get it and all that stuff, you got to deal with all that sorts of material. So, for me, this would be an everyday use, whatever. If I was cutting boxes and opening boxes all day or whatever, I would absolutely be using this for that. I think it would be fantastic for that. The ergonomics are very comfortable, nice and rounded here, no hot spots. So all that stuff makes this everyday use really good. I don't know about hard use. I would say close to hard use, definitely medium to heavy use, right? I wouldn't call it super hard use. Is it a collection piece? No. I mean, you can replace this super cheap. It's great. Now, if you love Civivi and you love to collect, yeah, anything can be a collection piece. I mean, you can collect the cheesiest, gas station knives if you want. Whatever you want to collect is your collection, right? But I wouldn't consider this collection piece worthy. It's not for sure for me. But it's definitely a good everyday EDC knife. Highly recommended. I am definitely going to be getting more of these for gifts for friends and family for sure. This is great. Okay. Ergonomics and feel we talked a little bit about before. Beautifully rounded aluminum handles. Everything's rounded, comfortable, no hot spots. I can grip this. It's got a nice rounded, so the shape fits into your hand. It doesn't want to slip out in and out. It's got a nice contouring there. It's got a little rounded, so it goes from thin to thicker. So you definitely got a good grip on there. You're not going to lose your hand. You've got a little ramp coming up here, so you're going to hold that in case you're doing some difficult cuts. You can choke up on the finger or here like that for a more precision cut, but you can choke up if you've got to do like a more kind of a push cut like that, so that works well. The button lock engages and disengages really nicely. I like that a lot, so that works really well, left-handed and right-handed for sure. And I can easily manipulate it as a button lock just with one, with the button. That's really nice. Opening and closing, we just did that. It's great. It's fantastic. I mean, the thumb studs work great, the button lock works great, and even the flat grind allows my middle finger flick to work really great, both left-handed, right-handed. I like that a lot. All right, so fidget factor, 1 out of 10. Well, we've got the thumb studs, we've got that flat grind, which makes it really nice. Reminds me of a Trevor Burger with that beautiful flat grind. We've got the button lock, so man, this gets up there into the 7, almost 8, because it's executed really that well. It really is. I mean, we're talking like, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Okay, 7.5 as far as fidget factor out of 10. How much fidget factor is in this knife? It's definitely a 75, but 7.5 out of 10. So that's a good amount for a little knife like this, I think. Now, fidgety goodness out of that, I don't often do this, but even for a budget knife like this is 100%. I cannot think of a reason why not, especially with the black PVD coating. That middle finger reverse flicking works great. Of course, I'm doing this and I'm putting my finger up there. Just get it where you're normally underneath there, and don't try to show off. Just hold it like normal and then flick it, and it works
Of course, now I'm doing this for you guys and I'm talking. Let me just do it like I'm not talking. Whoops. Is my finger getting tired? Yeah, probably getting a little tired from this. You know, it happens after a while. You get a little tired and it's hard to push in because you do have to put a little pressure. You got to make sure you get in the groove and push it up, right? And so that's the thing about that. But anyways, that middle finger reverse flicking with a flat grind works really nice. Now on a Trevor Burger Custom with the hollow grind, it's butter. It's beautiful. A flat grind's never going to be as good as a full hollow grind, but it's still really good. Still really good. For this price point, it's outstanding. Outstanding. Okay, so fidgety goodness, I gave it 100%. So overall, my thoughts. Great knife. Highly recommend it. This is definitely going into my budget recommended knives. Absolutely. I think this is a knife you should consider. If you're looking for a knife around the $60, $67 price point and you don't want to spend a whole lot, check this one out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you like button locks, if you like thumb studs, if you like the idea of, you know, a flat grind, kind of a spear point looking kind of knife like that, if you're okay with a, you know, a little shorter edge, because we're looking at 2.5 inches to 2.75 inches cutting length, if that's okay for you with a little finger choil up there, this is a great contender. The rounded corners on this makes this so comfortable. It reminds me of an Elementum, but with a little more shape to it, right? Elementum feels a little more straight. This has a little kind of a bow to it and it fits into your hand, into the grooves are really a bit nicer. I do like that, and I think there's a lot to be said with that, and I think that's really positive. So yeah, there you go. Definitely going to be a recommended knife for sure. So I think this is something maybe put on your radar, put on your list. If not, you know, if this is not your cup of tea, maybe as a gift for friends, definitely consider this. They do have different colors, different variations. Like I said, they had blue handle with a non-coated blade. They had the red handle with a black blade. And then they also had the green handle with a Damascus blade. That one's a little more expensive. It's still under $100, so still in my budget realm. And you still would get 10% off of that. So you'd take $8 off of $8.75. So you're looking at probably $71 for that if you were to get it through White Mountain Knives. So there you go. Really, really nice knife, I think. And I'm really happy to make this part of my giveaway coming up. So I think you guys will really, really enjoy this. I like this a lot. I almost feel like I need another one to have in my collection because I do like it that much. And I think Civivi really executed this one well. This is going to be up there as far as, you know, I saw the Kaiser Begleiter and the Kaiser Original and all those things. And then you had the old, you know, Bug Out that became a classic. And then you had the Elementum and, you know, all those are classics. I feel like this has the potential to be that. At least the ergonomics like this. Now, could they change a little bit and play off of this and make another knife? Yeah, they absolutely could. But this one's a fun, great budget knife. I like this. The steel is great. Super thin, slicey blade. I like that a lot. I think it's something that definitely will be appealing to a lot of people. It's appealing to me, and it's certainly something I will consider buying as a gift. So, for sure. If not, I might even get one for my car. I really like it that much. I really do. I think this would be really nice to have as a car knife. Just to have in there, something to access stuff with. Anyways, those are my thoughts on this. Definitely recommend it. I'm going to give you a couple of quick close-ups here so we can definitely see the blade and the handle. I think it's gorgeous. For a budget knife, this is so done well. Really, really done well. I love the fact, too, by the way, it's a captive pivot if you didn't catch that. So that's really nice. T8s all the way around. Of course, except for the deep pocket carry clip. That's a T6. But I think you can get the titanium ones to put on here, which is really nice. So, yeah. And then let's see here. We'll do a little close-up of closed like that. Really nice knife. And you can get the back part here. Yeah. Really cool knife. Definitely, I think it's something worth your consideration for your maybe purchase for yourself or for a gift. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking my channel really helps it to grow, helps me to produce more content, to do more things, and I very much appreciate that. And if you've done all that, would you please consider hitting the notification button so you can be notified of future content future content as well down below. And if you've done all that, maybe you just want to go over to Instagram. Maybe check me out over there on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.